Hello, Abnormal Family. I found another one for you, and I don't think I've ever heard a story anything like the one I'm about to share with you. This story is not only weird, but I also found the autopsy report that goes along with it. So, this one's weird. Just a warning before this starts. It's a pretty dark story. It's not like one I've ever heard, but I think it's important to show that we were messing with altering things a long time ago. So, the name of this one is called Blood Drains. Drains. And I promise it's a weird one. So, let's go ahead and get started. Oh, um, never mind. You'll see as it plays. Hospitals located in Europe used to use leeches for medical procedures. During this time, doctors started developing leeches that were specifically made for medical procedures. They were called blood drains. They were genetically modified versions of the European leeches, but were much longer and were more painless when draining the blood from patients. They were officially finished in 1848 by nurse Pamela Stein, who was then uncredited, and her husband Alexander Stein took credit. Wow, that's sad. But I don't know if I'd want credit for these or not. The blood drains became a very reliable medicine and method of draining diseased blood out of patients. The creatures were said to grow up to 2 to 21 centimeters long. They had sharp teeth that had sticky mucus on them so they could grab bacteria in blood that were microscopic. The creatures were said to be initially decomposers and carnivores, which led doctors to trying to feed them prior to a procedure. However, they were still hungry and ended up attacking humans during procedures. The blood drains were desperate feeders. If you will, they usually ate plankton and small krill, but when they became desperate and are still hungry, they'll eat the first thing they see, and that just so happened to be the patients. Dr. Alexander Stein. Despite this, the doctors were desperate to keep this in the dark and to hide the bodies. But the truth was uncovered when one drained the blood out of a 9-year-old boy named Victor Wilson and refused to let go. His teeth started impaling the boy's arm where it was placed. The boy passed out from the lack of blood in his body and he died. 25 others were killed by blood drains prior. The hospitals were desperate to keep the deaths under wraps. They hid the deceased in storage units buried deep underground and told families that they were in a deep coma, that was a disease, and that they were disease filled. Somehow families fell for it and just assumed they were asleep. It took young innocent child to die for the doctors to finally do something about those slimy demons. This really replicates the Crescent Moon Hotel. Xavier Stoneman, doctor at one of the hospitals that used blood drains, in 1889 they were deemed too dangerous and the blood drains were sealed up in basements of the hospitals afterwards. It is unclear why they didn't just kill them. However, the creature still found a way to slip out of the cracks of the basement doors. In 1895, a doctor was attacked by one of the blood drains who slid into the doctor's esophagus and made him gag for a solid 40 seconds and eventually killed the doctor. Blood started flooding the doctor's mouth. No one really knows why this doctor was attacked. Some say they were just hungry. Some even claim that they felt hatred and attacked the doctor because he helped seal them up. When an autopsy was performed, the doctor, whose name was uncovered as Gregory Hines, it was revealed that vital organs and intestines and bite marks and partially were ripped off inside the body. The blood drain was sliding around, laying eggs in the stomach area. I have never been so disgusted in all my life. The creature was oozing black goo inside the body and was making tiny slimy noises as it moved around. Yes, noises. Its pure glowing white eyes were menacing as its black worm-like body shook violently as we pulled it out. The eggs started hatching and they squealed and cried for food. The doctors picked them up and squashed them so they wouldn't become adults and start this mess all over again. Now, this is Laura Wallen. This was a nurse. This is an autopsy report. Photographs of the autopsy corpse were lost due to time, burnt, and torn, and some were told to be published due to the contents of them, but reports have been recovered and are in bad quality. Most hospitals containing them have been left to rot with them inside. One person in 2012 went inside, ran out terrified. His eyes were in a wide expression of shock and pain. His skin was incredibly pale, and he hasn't said a word since. A photo taken from inside has been resurfacing publicly. It fills the details of what he saw. The photo is speculated to be a blood drain fully grown. The man then finally spoke out and said, "I wanted that photo to be long forgotten. You made me remember the worst night of my life." That thing was evil. I saw bodies of deceased piled up in an office space. I saw pools of blood dripping from the sticky, sharp teeth. I was lucky to get out, and I forget. Not any more thanks to you. The man has recently passed away in 2019 from a supposed suicide. The bodies in the report stated, subject deceased from blood loss. Subject deceased from major blood loss. Subject deceased from bite marks to inner organs inside of the stomach due to blood loss. All patients were attacked and died of blood loss with multiple organs being damaged and eggs laid inside of the bodies. All bodies were then cremated and burnt, and to this day they believe all the leeches were destroyed. The thing is, they believe. I hope you all enjoyed this one, guys. It was a little bit different than what I found before, but I thought, man, this is so weird, and people go around and they're changing things, and there was a lot of evil hospitals back in those days. I know, the Crescent Moon Hotel, it's a lot like that. It's a place that I've been wanting to stay with Sarah and check it out and everything. Can you imagine these doctors are in there putting these creatures on people, and they can't even control these creatures, and these creatures are like sucking the blood straight out of people. They're killing people, and from what they're saying, these things are squealing and almost like they have an intelligence about them, because some think that, they was mad at the doctor that they killed. And then they're telling your family, oh, they're fine, they're locked in the basement. They just, they have a lot of disease. And then later on, what are they going to tell your family? Well, we're sorry, we couldn't control it. It was really bad, and he ended up not making it. It almost makes you worry anymore when they say, hey, your family's not going to be able to come back with you because we have to do some things. But everything's going to be okay. Well, guys, I thought I would share this one with you. And I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner, literally. We'll see you on the next one.